All right, everybody, welcome back to the Strategic Acquisition Workshop. We are entering module number 2 and session number 1 of module 2, and there will be multiple sessions, is going to be finding opportunities. Specifically, how do we collect cold lists? And I'll explain what that is here shortly. But first, if I can get the technology working, let's talk about what we're going to do today. So we're going to talk about the overview of Module 2. So I'll go over very briefly, very high level, exactly what we're going to do for Module 2. Then we'll talk about how to find owners and more specifically, how to pull cold owner contact lists. There are multiple ways to do that. Then how to churn those cold lists, so those cold leads, into warm prospects. And that is really where the rubber meets the road in this class. And then we'll go deeper into other classes on other strategies for finding owners. But for this one specific, we're only going to talk about using lists that you either collect or purchase, however it is you do that. And we'll talk about that. And then we'll do homework. All right. So where are we right now? Well, we know we're doing the strategic acquisition workshop, as I've mentioned in the other lessons. And currently we are in the acquisition phase. We have completed begin at the end, and we are now starting finding opportunities. So we are in phase 1 and starting step 2, or in our case, module number 2 for finding opportunities. All right, little quick disclaimer. And no, we're not going to be talking about anything financial or anything like that today, but I still like to get this disclaimer out. I'm not an attorney nor a CPA, and I do not play one on TV or pretend to be one in real or imaginary life. This material is for educational purposes only and should not be considered advice. Consult your attorney and or your CPA for such advice. Now that we got the disclaimer out of the way, what are we going to cover in Module 2? All right, so we're going to talk about how to find opportunities. We're going to start that today. Again, this will probably be 3 or 4 sessions long. We'll see if I can fit the 4 session into the 3rd session, but more than likely be 4 sessions long. Then we're going to talk about how to select markets that fit your goals. Now, out of this entire course, that is probably going to be the most in-depth and hardest part of this entire training, because we're going to go deep into economics so that you can find employment data, you can find economic data, you can find demographic data, psychographic data, everything you need to make a decision on whether it's a good market or not that fits your goals. All right, so that is going to be a big one. It will be at least 3, probably 4 or 5 sessions when we start doing how to select the markets. Next, we're going to do how to underwrite deals based on your risk tolerance. Again, multiple sessions for that one, probably 3 or 4 if I had to guess. As you can tell, I just kind of write this out every single week as we go based on what we've done and feedback from the previous ones. Obviously, this is the 5th time I have updated this course, so I have a great base to pull from, but I'm putting it in more of a chronological process that you can understand and give it in a little bit more of bite-sized pieces, even though in Module 1, those videos were a little long. We're not going to be quite that long today, okay? But if you notice, things are a little backwards in this module. So the tail's kind of wagging the dog here. What do I mean by that? Well, right now you're saying to yourself, well, David, if I find an opportunity and I haven't even chosen my market yet, how do I know if that market's a good opportunity or not? And that's a great point. And then you're probably thinking, but if I don't know how to underwrite the deal, why am I even looking for opportunities? And that's another great point. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to start finding opportunities in your local market. And I don't care if you live in Los Angeles, California, one of the highest markets in the entire country where most people aren't investing. But it'll give you the practice of talking to owners where you probably don't really care in that market whether you get the deal or not, but you're going to start building those reps and getting comfortable having those conversations. And we're going to talk about those conversations next week when we go into the next session. All right. So don't be afraid that you're doing things backwards here. There's a method to my madness, because as you start reaching out to those owners, while you're doing that and building those reps, you can start learning and selecting your markets. And then by the time you've got something, you can start to underwrite it. All right. So that's the reason it is in this order. So we're going to spend, because we do this weekly, we're probably going to spend 2 months in finding opportunities, maybe a little longer. We'll see how it goes. For those of you that know me, know that I like to add additional information as I'm teaching something, and then just tell myself, holy crap, I forgot this and this and this. So now we need another lesson. So don't be surprised if this turns into more lessons, but that's the plan for now. All right. So how do we find owners? Well, let's talk about pulling cold lists. So where are we going to get these lists from? Well, you've got tools like CoStar, Yardi Matrix, Reonomy, Prospect Now, Land Vision. These are all big data companies that collect owner information in the commercial real estate space. Companies like Reonomy and CoStar have every single market. I believe Land Vision does as well. Land Vision is really more specifically geared towards land, but the data you pull from them is really good. And because every building sits on land, Land Vision is an overlooked tool that is not as expensive as Reonomy or CoStar. And I don't really know what the price of Yardi Matrix is. The last time I used it, it was given to me for free, so I don't know what the cost is. The cheapest of the bunch is Prospect Now, but you get what you pay for. They are not in every market, and the information you get really isn't that good. If you're doing landlord rep or tenant rep or something like that in the commercial real estate space, and you're in a market that Prospect Now covers, Prospect Now does have really good information on all of the stakeholders that are in the building, every business that's in the building, and every principal that's in that business. So Prospect Now is good for that. Maybe not so good for multifamily, but definitely good in the commercial real estate space. All right. So these are our primary sources. You have to pay for these sources. There are not any, or there really aren't any free sources that I'm aware of, unless you go to NETR, that's November Echo Tango Romeo online.com, and then go to Real Property Records, and every single county in the country has their property databases on that resource. It is free, but it would take you days upon weeks upon months, maybe even upon years to pull the data out of that website. It's now, it used to be you would go to the courthouse and you'd tell the clerk, hey, I want to go view public record. And she'd go open the door to the repository, and you'd go in there and you'd thumb through files. Or if you're been in this business for more than 20 or 30 years, you're filming through microfiche or whatever you did to find ownership information on property a long time ago. Now we can do it from the comfort of your desk on your computer using netronline.com. But you're only going to get the public record information, which is the owner of record for the property and their mailing address. That's it. Okay, then you've got to dig deeper. Now you can go get a skip trace or something like that. But that is the only free method that I know of that you can collect, other than going to the courthouse yourself and pulling the records. Okay, and there's nothing free about time. So let's just throw that out there. All right, then we have distressed sources. What do I mean by distressed? Properties that are potentially in trouble, have been put on a watch list by a lender. Maybe they're in special servicing, which means they're in technical default, and the lender has brought in a special servicer to take over servicing of the loan to prepare for foreclosure if a workout doesn't occur. You cannot do a workout with a lender in the commercial real estate space. I don't know if you can do it in the residential space or not, meaning 1 to 4 units. I don't know if they'll do special servicing or not. In the commercial real estate space, it does go to a special servicer, and you cannot negotiate a workout on your loan if it is not in special servicing. So if you're trying to do a workout on one of your loans, you need to request from your servicer to be moved into special servicing. It does flag you when you do that, but at that point, you'll be able to negotiate some kind of workout. So our distress sources are TREP and Real Capital Analytics. These are both very expensive tools, but if you are in the foreclosure market or the short sale market for multifamily properties, or really any property, doesn't matter, in the commercial real estate space, whether it's multifamily, office, industrial, retail, self-storage, hotel, any one of those that has a commercial loan attached to it, these two are the primary sources. Now, there is a new source that is just launched, and I'm going to be using that source. I have not signed up for it yet. I want to see if they get the bugs worked out quickly. As a CCIM tech board member, I'm actually the VP of the tech board this year, I have inside track on the deal between CCIM and Moody's. Moody's has just released to the public, but with CCIM, we have special privileges, but they've just released to the public their, I think they call it either Moody's CRE or Data CRE. I can't remember what the name of it is. And it is going to rival CoStar. They are out to compete with CoStar. And for CCIMs, it starts at just over $100 a month. So it is very, very, very affordable and has more data than CoStar will provide. Right now, CoStar and a couple of the other products will only provide CMBS loan data, commercial mortgage-backed securities, because it's public information. So all they have to do is API into somewhere like KeyBank, which is the holder of the largest number of CMBS products. TREP, Real Capital Analytics, they get data from all of the resources, CMBS, all the agencies, Fannie, Freddie, FHA, HUD. They get the loan data from all of them, as well as CLOs, commercial loan obligations, which are your bridge debt, your mezzanine debt, and then also some private equity firms that do debt. They get information on those, which really are your CLOs. So, and then they also get information on local, regional, and national banks. So with Moody's CRE, as they launch, they are promising all of that data as well. They have managed to API into all of those resources. And really, it's that I'm waiting to see if it's strong or if it's kind of and maybe not worth it or not, but we'll see. So stay tuned for Moody CRE. You'll hear me speaking more about that later. But as of right now, TREP Real Capital Analytics will get you access to loan data for commercial real estate products across all asset classes and across all loan types. Then we have skip tracers and VAs. So if you don't want to do any of this, you can ask a skip tracer to go do it for you. Now, in the single family world, this works out well. Maybe not so much in the commercial real estate world because you still need the resources. Now, they can easily go to any tronline.com and pull data, especially with the VA. VA is probably using a skip tracer once they get the information to get the remainder of the data. So a VA will go research all of the properties you want in a market and then they'll take that information because it's going to be very basic, hand it to a skip tracer or put it through a skip trace tool where you can get the rest of the data, phone numbers, emails, and things like that. So you can use these to also find owner cold lists. And before I go any further, what do I mean by cold? Cold just means they don't know who you are, and you have not been given permission to contact them. Okay, so that's cold. That's just a list of contacts that you're going to do outreach for. All right. And then, of course, there's online tools such as REI Skip. Now, I've used REI Skip in the past. It's okay. I have found CoStar's data to be more accurate than REI Skip because CoStar specializes in commercial real estate. REI Skip specializes in residential real estate. So take that for what it's worth. And then hiring a VA, and you can do that via onlinejobs.ph. There are other places you can hire a VA. You can do it on Upwork.com, and you can do it on Fiverr, Fiverr, Fiverr.com, Fiverr. Both of those are also good resources, but you'll get a mix of international VAs that may not speak very good English, where in the Philippines, they are taught English in school. So I have found them to be the best VAs that I've used over the years. All right, so now that we have our owners lists, what the heck do we do with them? Okay, these are cold lists, and cold's fine. We can email, we can call all day long as there's a way for them to unsubscribe. If you email somebody and you don't have a way for them to unsubscribe, you are violating the CAN-SPAM Act. And now that I'm thinking about this, probably should have had a slide on the CAN-SPAM Act, but I'll just talk about it. So what does the CAN-SPAM Act say? Well, it says you can spam, thus the name, but there's rules. So you can blast out once an email blast. And as long as you have your contact information in the footer or header of the email and a way for them to unsubscribe if they don't want to receive messages from you, then you can spam. If they don't unsubscribe or reply to you and say, stop emailing me, or you can message them again and again and again and again until they hit that unsubscribe button. But the moment they do, you have to stop emailing them. What you used to be able to do prior to September 1st was you used to be able to text people in the same process. So if you got a VoIP number through somewhere like Twilio, which is who we use through Acquisition Pro, you were able to send bulk text messages along with those emails. We have found you get a 40% greater response with text. Well, September 1st of 2023, the Federal Communication Commission, the FCC in the United States, lobbied by all of the phone providers, said you can no longer cold text anybody. If it is a cell phone, you cannot send an SMS message to them that they did not ask for through explicit permission. So they put rules in place and required you to register with them if you're going to be sending SMS messages. So I go over all of that in Acquisition Pro, and I cover how to do it, and I even help you do it. That's neither here nor there. That's not what this is about. But in order to send them SMS messages, again, 40% greater response from SMS than email, we're going to need to churn them warm. So what does that mean? It means we send them an email, they click on a link, they download a product. Now we can send them, because they're going to check a little box that says we agree. Now we can send them a SMS message for follow-up and continue to send them until they type the word stop or unsubscribe or something like that in their phone, at which time you can no longer send that message anymore. So how do we take that cold list and churn it warm? Well, let's go over to Acquisition Pro and I will show you. All right, so here I am in Acquisition Pro. and I'm in the dashboard, which was when you log in, this is where you'll be. So if I come to automation, now when you upload, I'll go to contacts first. When you upload your database that you got from a skip tracer, from CoStar, from Reonomy, from any of the resources, when you upload them here, this is where they'll show up. All right. In order for cold to get these to work, we click all of them, select a tag, and then for our example, we're just going to use off-market cold, and any action, doesn't matter what it is, it's just making sure this is what you want to do, hit add, and when we do that, it will add all of these test dummy contacts. Now, this one is mine, and YouTube, I explicitly give permission to be able to see this information, and this is dummy data. So please do not pull this video down. There is no personal information being shown here other than my own, and I give permission for that to be shown. Okay, just had to do that for YouTube. Sorry, guys. All right, so when we do that, we add that tag. What it does is it sends them to an automation. Now, all of this is already pre-built into your Acquisition Pro account. So when you sign up for an Acquisition Pro account, whether you sign up for the free trial or you just come in through any other means, you will get all of this already included in your account, so you don't have to set any of this up. All right, so this will already be here. So if we look at, this is where they're going to come, you'll see new lead organization. It's going to say in my trigger, contact tag off market cold, add them to workflow A001, which is where the first automation occurs. So what happens is they get added to this automation. It automatically updates the opportunity, adds a tag to them, assigns a user to them, and sends them this email. And this is all done simultaneously. So in this email, it's basically enticing them to download something of value. In this case, it's a quick value calculator, which allows you to determine your property's value in less than 5 minutes. I built the calculator. The calculator is already in your account, and the pages are there. Everything is already there when you sign up for Acquisition Pro. So when they click on this, they have the opportunity to fill out a form, check a box, and download that calculator. Now, it's going to wait 7 days. And if they do not click this, it's going to continue to send them down the rest of the cold email list. So we start with multifamily opportunities, all the emails there, waits a week, sends it again. So we have a follow-up, a continuous follow-up, enticing the prospect to reply to you based on something that triggered them within these 9 emails. There's 9 of them for 9 weeks. Okay. Now, if they do fill out that form, then it's going to remove them from this workflow, remove that tag, and remove them from this opportunity. And it's going to move them into the other workflow, which is off-market opt-in, because they opted in, they became warm. So now we've taken our cold list, given them the opportunity for something of value. If they fill out the form and check the box, which I'll show you in a second, then they are now considered a warm lead. So now they come in here, and you'll notice that in addition to the email, we can now SMS them. And this is the power of utilizing a system that allows you to take your cold leads that you purchased a list from and churn them warm. So now they're requesting permission to receive things from you. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. Now, let's look at the landing page. So where do they go? Well, when we click that link, or when the owner clicks that link, it takes them to this landing page. Now, right now, this landing page is just very basic. We can doctor this up, no big deal. But the important thing is right here, checking that box. Now, guess what? They cannot download the quick value calculator unless they check that box, giving us permission to SMS them. This is what the FCC and all the phone providers and Twilio are requiring in order for you to be able to SMS them. It's built into your system. I have it here already. You don't have to worry about it. And then, of course, once they fill that out, then they'll actually get the download, and there is a video I've already created on how to use the calculator. There's also a download button as well as a button to schedule an appointment with you if they need to know how to use this further. The key is they're scheduling an appointment with you. Now you've got an opportunity to talk to an owner that actually wants to talk to you. Okay, very powerful. We call these funnels. This is a very, very powerful funnel. So now we've taken our cold list, we've warmed it up, and now we have a greater chance of receiving a response from that owner. Okay, so that is all I really want to cover on cold lists today, on how to find and convert owners that are ready to sell or have an issue, that you'll be able to receive that opportunity. So, homework. Find or purchase an owner contact list. Got to have that. Or email me and let's have a conversation, because I've got over 200 markets in my database, and we can have a conversation about how you can get access to that list. Now, if you are a user of Acquisition Pro, all you have to do is email me with a market and I will send that information over to you. It doesn't cost you anything. Okay. Start an Acquisition Pro 30-day free trial. If you haven't done so already, there will be a link below this video inside the description. This will be on YouTube. So inside the description of this video, you will find a link to get a free trial for Acquisition Pro. You are going to need that to be able to accomplish taking your cold lead and churning them warm. As far as I've seen, and I'm in this space, been in this space a long time, no one is providing that kind of system. Upload your contacts to Acquisition Pro once you get your Acquisition Pro account, and then hold conversations with owners that want to hear what you have to offer. Look, as soon as you add that tag to, let's say you want to do 50 owners that day, and you select 50 owners to send through your messaging, as soon as you do that, that's it. You're done. You don't have to touch anything else. Acquisition Pro will do the rest for you. So you're only having conversations with people that want to talk to you. That doesn't stop you from calling on them. If you want to do outbound reach by phone, you can still do that, and you can use the phone built into Acquisition Pro and be able to do it right from your computer using your microphone and your speakers. Or guess what? There's an app for that, and you can do it on your app as well. All right, what are we going to talk about next week? Well, we're going to continue with finding owners. This time, we're going to talk about using social media and advertising. Now, I may separate this, which is why I said we may end up in 4 sessions instead of 3. So I may separate these two. So next week may only be social media, or if it looks like we're not going to go over a certain amount of time, then I will include advertising in it. But honestly, probably going to break this up, but we will definitely cover social media next week. And I might add advertising at the end, the 4th session. And then we're going to talk about influencers in the 3rd session, and how to entice owners to ask for help. So we're actually going to talk about what to say to owners in order to get them to want to respond to you, to have a conversation. Okay. So I hope you found this helpful. Again, the link is below this video for you to get your 30-day free trial. If you've already subscribed to Acquisition Pro, but you're stuck getting started, again, email me, david@davidmonroeccim.com, and I'll be glad to help you and get you unstuck. All right. That's why I'm here. This is my company. It is what I do. I actually care about you guys. Okay. Obviously, from the content I put out, nobody else puts out free content like this. So hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next week. George, don't go anywhere.